imagine you think you bought a Lamborghini. It even looks like a Lambo. Damn it, it's fake.
It's a great sound for a Lambo to make.
I fooled again. Well, that's sort of like the worst defenders in the NBA. These guys probably got to the league because they're all-world on offense. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 worst defenders in the league right now, but we gotta lay down some ground rules. So first off, they have to actually try. That means no Bradley Beal in this list, for example. He can defend, just for some reason this year it's okay not to play defense in DC. I count Devin Booker in that category too. He's got the tools. Number 2, the player has to actually play enough for his team to hurt his team. Yes, I could put Isaiah Thomas on this list, but he's basically not in the league anymore. I'm sorry, that sucks. These players on our list try like hell. They play a lot of minutes. They just suck. The coach basically tries to hide them the entire game while the other coach goes at them the whole game. These are the top 10 worst defenders in the NBA. Hey, it's Casey, host of the AM Hoops YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, hit notification bells. It helps out the channel. Still making 5 videos per week until the NBA comes back, even when the NBA comes back. It is coming back July 31st, by the way. Take a look here at this full reaction video to the plan to restart the NBA. But today, we're talking about the worst defenders in the league. Before we get to the list though, I gotta say, we could literally put every single Cavs player other than Tristan Thompson, basically every Wizards player too, but that just would be lazy. We are going to have Cavs and Wizards on the list, don't worry, but they will only be the absolute worst. So with that in mind, plus our rules, you gotta remember the rules here, put a comment below, who did I absolutely miss on this top 10? It's a subjective list, so we're not gonna agree on everything. Tell me who I missed and why. But we begin with number 10, and that's Lou Williams. Most of us love Lou Will as a player because he's been around forever, he's clutch, he comes off the bench, not a jerk. And not long ago, he wasn't awful on defense. He had a 10-steal game in 2018, but age has caught up with him. Opposing teams go at Lou all game and in important spots, like LeBron James here. Lou is only 10th on the list though because he doesn't hurt the team that much. The Clippers are still a good defensive team. I thought about putting Rajon Rondo in this spot, but the Clippers do use Lou at the end of games. The Lakers don't use Rondo. Lou Will is one of the Clippers bench players who sometimes closes out games. Doc Rivers has gone on and off that all season. It's a serious weak spot though, and it probably won't continue in the playoffs because of his defense. Number 9, James Harden. Look, stop defending James Harden's defense. Just because he isn't as bad as he was in 2015 doesn't mean he's now good. He's got low effort level, he won't go through screens, so Houston has to switch every time, affecting their strategy. He does defend front court players, halfway decent. Dude allowed just 0.65 points per post up. But the Rockets are scheming him that way, away from guards the entire game. If he's one-on-one with a guard, you're screwed. He allowed 0.89 points per ISO, 7th worst in the NBA among qualified players. The Rockets bend over backwards to hide James Harden's bad defense, and they have the personnel to do it, so it works. It still doesn't mean he doesn't suck. Number 8, Carmelo Anthony. Look, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time here on Melo, because it's just like James Harden. He hasn't been as bad as he was a few years ago on defense in Portland, but he's still bad. Opponents still shoot almost 55% on twos and 40% on threes against Melo. But yes, the Blazers are about 5 points per 100 possessions better with Melo on the court. He is still a liability on defense. Just because you can find some numbers that support him, people rush to defend Melo, but he is still one of the worst defenders in the league. Number 7, Bobby Portis. This is our Knicks representative on the list. Portis has been bad for years on D, which is actually kind of crazy because he's 6'11" and pretty athletic. Terrible rim defender. Bad in pick and roll, no matter what coverage. Even worse defending in space. He's always been one of the worst shot blocking centers in the league. This year is almost his career worst at just 0.3 blocks per game. There were several Knicks vying for this spot. Julius Randle comes to mind, but he actually has a positive defensive real plus minus. So instead, Bobby Portis punches his way in at number 7. See what I did there? Number 6, Kevin Love. You could also put Chetty Osman here, but Love is going to represent the Cavs front court. His individual numbers are atrocious. He averages 0.6 steals and 0.3 blocks per game, right down there with Bobby Portis. As a team, Cleveland is bad in the paint, and Love is to blame. They give up the 5th most points to power forwards and the 3rd highest field goal percentage. Love has played most of the Cavs games, 56 of 65, and they are 19 and 46 this year. 26th in offensive rating, 29th in defensive rating, that is second from bottom. The Cavs are being outscored by almost 8 points per 100 possessions with Kevin Love on the floor. And you'd like to think that he would improve if a team does trade for him, but at this point it looks like age and the defensive game have passed Kevin Love by. Number 5, Zach Lavine. The eye test is bad for Zach. Kobe White is a better defender. How is that possible? But the numbers hate him even more. The Bulls are about 10 points better on defense per 100 possessions with Lavine on the bench. Zach is the perfect example of a guy who tries really hard, but opposing teams just go at him all game and expose him, which makes him perfect for our list. His worst trait is help defense, but that doesn't mean his on-ball defense is good. You can find decent defense once in a while from Zach Lavine, but overall, he is one of the worst defenders in the NBA. I've got Lavine as a worse defender as Bobby Portis, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Love, because Lavine is his team's number 1 option. He's the guy they depend on in the clutch. He plays a ton of minutes, closes out games, which in this case means more opportunity to hurt the Bulls. Number 4, Collin Sexton. Could also include Darius Garland here, but Sexton gets the honor or the dishonor of repping the Cavs backcourt. As a duo, they have about a 117 defensive rating, the worst of any guard combination in the league. Cavs fans will say that Sexton got better on defense this year, but not by much. Playing with another bad defensive 6'1" guard cannot help, but Sexton's on and off ball defense is atrocious. The 3rd worst defender in the league, D'Angelo Russell. This is a big part of the reason why the Warriors didn't hang on to him, even though it was a bad look to trade for him and then let him go at the trade deadline. His defensive real plus minus is god awful at minus 1.43. But all you have to do is watch a game to know that D'Lo is a liability. He can't keep another point guard in front of him. He has constant mental lapses. Timberwolves fans may have the worst defensive star duo in the league with D'Lo and Karl Anthony Towns. That means lower your expectations, Minnesota fans. Can D'Lo and Cat take him back to the playoffs? I would bet no, and defense is the reason why. The 2nd worst defender, and this is close, is DeMar Derozan. DeRozan has been the reason that the Spurs have had their worst defense ever. No, seriously, ever. Look at this list. It ranks Spurs seasons by defensive rating. 2020, the worst. DeRozan's bad defense changed the way that Greg Popovich had to set his lineup. DeRozan cannot defend guards, so they have to play 2 guards next to him so he can play the 3. That means a lot of Britton forwards, which ain't great. The Spurs don't have any really big guards. I mean, Lonnie Walker is 6'5", but he doesn't really play enough. So the Spurs get torched. The Spurs have a positive net rating with DeRozan on the bench, a negative one with him on the court. Pop always gets the best out of players defensively, and DeRozan has the physical tools. He just can't do it anymore, which is why he's on this list and close to being the worst defender in the league. But number 1, the worst defender in the NBA is Trae Young. Trae is the biggest fake Lambo in the league. Amazing on offense, creative, talented, looks so much like a superstar, but you look under the hood and it's ugly. You can't knock the kid because he tries. He's just small at 6'1", 180 pounds, and he doesn't have good defensive IQ. Defensive real plus minus, which we've referenced, is not a perfect stat, but he is dead last in the NBA by a lot at negative 3.12. He's also 1st in offensive real plus minus, the most Trae Young fact ever. Atlanta has the 3rd worst defensive rating in the league. With Trae, they're even worse. They're almost 10 points per 100 possessions worse with him on the court. Let me know who you think I messed up on or who I totally left out down below in the comments. But again, like the Timberwolves, lower your expectations if one of these guys is key to your team, with the exception of Lou Williams there at 10, because I know defense isn't glamorous, we don't like to talk about it, but it is key to winning championships. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.